The Barbados Today Newsroom, this is your evening news update for Tuesday, April 27th. Former Government Minister Donville Inniss was today sentenced to 24 months in a U.S. federal prison, which will take effect at the end of July. The judgment was handed down today in the Eastern District Court of New York. Inniss's attorney had this to say about the day's outcome.
To argue that $36,000, because it got transferred into a U.S. bank and then transferred to another U.S. bank, undermined the U.S. financial system, was beyond a joke. I can't believe they actually said it. It was a disgrace. Now, I am obviously pleased that the judge didn't buy their argument about 79 months. I'm disappointed that the judge didn't depart all the way down. This case, in my judgment, my professional judgment, in 53 years I've been doing criminal defense work, this case was a probation case, maybe with some house arrest, but 24 months on which Don will serve approximately 15 months before he's eligible to be released to a halfway house. Assuming he gets released to a halfway house because he's not a U.S. citizen, so they may hold him for the entire 21 months. I'm not sure about that yet. No fine. No restitution ordered, and he has to pay $300 mandatory.
He told Barbados Today he intends to appeal Inniss's money laundering conviction.
I do think that there are significant issues on appeal, and we're going to be pursuing it vigorously. I'm not in a position to comment beyond that because I haven't really gotten my hands wrapped around it, but what I do know, there is a good faith and legitimate appeal as to whether a crime was even committed. The problem is Barbados has no election campaign laws, and a contribution by a business, a corporation, a constituent that was intended to be a campaign contribution for re-election gets converted into a bribe when Don has no control over the decision that was made to renew the insurance company. It makes no sense to me.
Today's outcome prompted brief responses from top government officials. Prime Minister Mia Mottley said it was truly an unfortunate moment. She said it was a lesson for all, whether elected or appointed, that their duty and focus must always be to serve the people in their interests and not that of those who come to serve. Attorney General Dale Marshall also described the development as sad.
The imposition of the penalty, as in our own judicial system, is entirely a matter for the U.S. courts. That court heard the charges, presided over the case, heard the evidence, and listened to the mitigation. It is the only body that could make a determination of the appropriate penalty in the circumstances. So it really does us no good to spend time deliberating on whether the penalty was too harsh or too light. I can only say that it now brings to an end this sad episode in Barbadian history, and that there are important lessons to be learned by persons both in and out of public life.
In other news this Tuesday, the COVID-19 cluster involving security guards at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has increased to 14. According to Chief Operations Officer Louise Bob, this follows the latest series of tests conducted on 85 security employees who were placed in quarantine on April 18. All security personnel, along with a housekeeper who works in the department, were first tested then, and 10 guards were confirmed positive. But Bob reported today that the remaining security officers, along with the associated housekeeping member of staff, have since received 2 consecutive negative COVID-19 test results and have been medically cleared for duty. Quick action by residents in Bush Hall Yard Gap saved the life of 81-year-old Hamilton Marshall as a blaze suddenly broke out at his wall house around 10:58 a.m. Lamar Sandiford and about 7 others ditched their friendly conversation by the shop and jumped into action as they learned that the house was on fire in their community.
We tried to save him, bring him out to there, but he was real stubborn, crying out, so he had to use a little force to get it out. But then the smoke was so thick that I tell the guys, it made no sense. We got come out and wreck the other side of the house and make sure the rest of people get and everything. So lucky thing that we saved him, and hope you could get back house anytime, but you can't get back life.
Marshall's great niece, Shakira Marshall, told the media that the fire victim is mentally challenged and they have been seeking help for him.
He's not in the best of mental health, and we were supposed to get some help for him, some aid for him, to put him in a facility or so from last year, and nothing has happened. But now I guess that this has happened. I guess that we will get some kind of help now.
Okay. How long he been living in this area in the Bishop?
For all his life. There's a family house that he's been living in.
Okay. Where were you when you found out about?
I was at home. I literally same guy. I was at home. Somebody called me and told me that the house burning.
So anything has been saved or everything?
Everything, whatever was in there, what little it was, everything is lost. The only thing remaining is him. And they had to drag him out to the house because he didn't even want to come out.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, a leading psychologist and educator is predicting a rise in the number of persons with mental illnesses as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. More in this report from TTT News.
Job losses, lockdowns, businesses closing down, foreclosures have all been on the increase during the COVID-19 pandemic. Another consequence of the virus, according to psychologist and educator Dr. Margaret Naked-Chatur, is increased mental illnesses among the nation's youth.
We have to look at what's happening in our schools and in our lack of schools. And I put it into two categories. The two vulnerable groups that are affected are the elderly and the young adults and the very young children.
Dr. Naked-Chatur said these young people have been robbed of a safe space, school, a place where they can access help and counseling.
We have to do it now. We have to have more monitoring of those who are not online. I know a few weeks ago they talked about 45,000, I think, children who have not accessed online services. What's happening with them?
Dr. Naked-Chatur said the only way to help these children is to send social workers, counselors and teachers to assist them.
What we need to do, however, is to be alerted to the situations where a lot of things are happening that we don't know. And the only way we can do that is if we have our foot soldiers or if we have people monitoring the absenteeism of these children.
She added that there has been a marked increase in the number of children who are self-harming, being cyberbullied, and experiencing abuse.
On the international front, President Joe Biden and U.S. health authorities today said that fully vaccinated people can safely engage in outdoor activities.
Starting today, if you're fully vaccinated and you're outdoors, you need, and not in a big crowd, you no longer need to wear a mask. I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside. But beginning today, gathering with a group of friends in a park, going for a picnic, as long as you are vaccinated and outdoors, you can do it without a mask. The CDC is able to make this announcement because our scientists are convinced by the data that the odds of getting or giving the virus to others is very, very low if you're both been fully vaccinated.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.